So if you are someone who trades or invests in Tesla stock, then right now you are probably rubbing your hands together, as Tesla stock has done phenomenally well for the month of November. In fact, it's almost up about 30% for the month of November. And guys, this is exactly in sync with what I said for Tesla stock in previous videos. I said earlier this month that Tesla was most likely going to have a strong November, and this is the reason why I don't delete my videos. You could go ahead and feel free to check them out. In fact, just yesterday, I made a video titled Tesla stock is about to go bananas. And what did we see for today? Well, we ended up seeing Tesla stock push up almost about 5%. And this is coming at a time where the S&P 500 is moving flat, basically consolidating, which is just showing us that Tesla has been having a lot of trading sessions outperforming the overall markets. And so this is very good for Tesla. A lot of good stuff for Tesla that we absolutely have to cover. But if we take a look at gold, this is also something that has been pretty much pushing up higher. And for those of you guys that are part of the Push Your Profit private group, then you guys know that gold was a trade idea that I highlighted back in November 20th as an idea to go long for a swing trade. And so if you guys want to have access to my daily briefings where I talk about what's going on in the overall economy and what are some stocks that I'm liking at the current moment and the reason behind it, then definitely check out the links in the description below, because one of the links is going to be a link for the Push and Profit private group. So definitely check that out. But moving forward, again, we have to cover what's currently taking place. Now, something that we all know by now is that Tesla is rolling out their Cybertrucks with their Cybertruck delivery date event. And this is something that I've said on the channel before as most likely a reason why we're seeing Tesla stock push upwards. I've shared in the past that I expect this to kind of be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation. And the reason being is because I think a lot of individuals may have a bit of disappointment really regarding the price for the Cybertrucks, because currently we don't have the prices that are going to be out there, but it's more likely that the prices are going to be a little bit higher. And the reason I say this is because in previous videos, I shared this Vindicator that Tesla put out for 2024. Now, for those of you guys that are unsure what a Vindicator is, essentially all these car manufacturers have to put out this paper for the government, kind of just deciphering what the VIN numbers on their vehicles mean. And yes, they actually do have some meaning. And so one of the things I've shared in previous videos is that if you look at the recent Vindicator for Tesla, they don't have any Cybertrucks that have a single motor. And so essentially those single motor Cybertrucks were the lowest priced Cybertrucks, which means that the first Cybertrucks rolling out are only going to be the dual and tri-motor Cybertrucks, which are of course going to be much expensive than the original, cheapest option that, Tesla promised back in 2019. And so this is one of the reasons why I kind of believe it's most likely a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. And this is why I believe Tesla stock has been pushing up recently. But I want to go ahead and talk about Tesla again from a technical perspective as well. And that's because although Tesla stock has been pushing upwards, and I do believe there is still some more room to push upwards, we have to acknowledge that we're pretty close to this area where there's a lot of volume relative to price. And if you guys are familiar with the channel, which by the way, if you're new to the channel, consider tapping that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. One of the things I've said repeatedly is that when there's a lot of volume relative to price, that means that there's a lot of exchanging between buyers and sellers, and that creates areas of supports, resistances, and consolidation. And so Tesla stock has been kind of moving closer to this area where you most likely may see Tesla either get rejected or move sideways for quite some time. Again, there's still some wiggle room before we actually hit that wall, but we are approaching it. And again, this event is coming in just a few days. Now, as far as economic data, today we got the consumer confidence report, and today we saw that it rebounded from its 15-month low, but recession worries are still persisting. Now, for those of you guys that are part of the Push and Profit private group, this is something that I've talked about in the past about how currently right now it makes sense to see some optimism in the markets as we're currently in this Goldilocks phase where, there's not too much unemployment rising up, but it's just enough to kind of soften the market without going into a recession. And so right now things are just right. It's still just right porridge that Goldilocks, pretty much enjoyed when she entered into the house of the three bears, but that doesn't mean that things can't get worse. In fact, I want to highlight this portion of this article talking about the consumer confidence report that we got for today. And so in this article, it says that Americans are grumpy about the economy despite the best job market in decades. It goes on to say that the chief reason is a severe bout of inflation that has raised prices 18% in the past 3 years and eroded the standard of living. And so while this is true, we also have to peel back a layer of this and kind of really parse deeper into the data, right? And so one of the things I've shared, or actually two things I've shared on the past on this channel, is that yes, there is a spectrum again of job wages going up from a lot of different various jobs, but we're also seeing an all-time high of Americans working 2 full-time jobs. And again, people don't work 2 full-time jobs because they want to, they do it because they have to. And so back then, where you could have that one, high-paying job, well, those high-paying jobs are slowly evaporating, leaving individuals that have that, somewhat decent-paying job and kind of having to get another second job, which isn't a good sign for the economy. But also a second note that we have to talk about is that yes, a lot of salaries increased, but we also saw a lot of employers say, well, since we're paying you a higher salary, we kind of want to see you do more while we cut off all the other people in your department. So we expect you to do much more work. And so, of course, this is leaving a sour taste in a lot of Americans. And again, this is not good for the overall economy. But of course, a lot of economists just look at the data of saying, oh, well, people are getting paid more, everything's fine. Well, the context matters, right? It doesn't matter if you're getting paid more, but it's 2 jobs that aren't, that great of a job. And again, I'm not trying to degrade any job. I mean, we need people in every, pretty much sector of the economy. But again, this is not good. We want people to just have one good paying job, not having to work 2 jobs, or just having one job where, yeah, they're getting paid more, but they also cut off, the entire department where now you have to do 5 people's jobs in one role. And so again, not a good sign. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have to just closely monitor what ends up taking place for Tesla and see, do we get rejected around that 253 price level, or do we actually push upwards? Again, we do have some catalysts for this week, which is the Cybertruck delivery date event, which I don't think is going to be that great unless we have some surprising news, which of course can always happen. You can't just assume that you know everything. Of course, there could be some random information that could cause the markets to push upwards, as well as Tesla. Maybe Elon Musk unveils a huge secret that could boost Tesla stock upwards, and so we'll have to pay attention to that catalyst event. But we also have the personal consumer expenditure report coming out that same day on Thursday as well. And that's also another inflationary gauge that we're going to want to pay attention to. Again, I don't think inflation is going to spiral out of control. It's actually expected in this report to see things kind of cool off. But one of the data points I've been saying that we absolutely want to continue monitoring is the labor markets. Again, the labor markets is pretty much what's holding us up from a recession, because at the end of the day, if people could get jobs and they could get paychecks, well, they could go ahead and spend. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to buy a new Tesla when interest rates are pretty high, where even with good credit, you're paying 8%, but at least people could spend. But the moment jobs start to kind of disappear, dwindle away, well, that's where the house of cards kind of start to tumble downwards, and that's where it's even less affordable to go ahead and buy a Tesla, which is why, I'm still bullish going into December. I do expect some periods of consolidation, but going into 2024, that's where I expect some challenges to arise. But with that said, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on Tesla in the short term, but also, Tesla going into 2024. I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say, but also just a friendly reminder, again, tap that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Also that like button, as it really does help out the channel. And before you guys go, make sure to check out this next video right over here, and I'll see you guys on that next video. Take care, guys.